Okay, so now what happens to you if you're laid off for all these tech workers? What are these tech workers going to do after they got laid off? Well, I got some numbers and I got some data, and we're going to talk about what they're most likely going to do. So there's only a few cases of scenarios you know, that they're going to do. So if you're going to get laid off by a big tech company, you most likely will trying to get rehired by another one. So you utilize your network and you kind of get your friends because the Bay Area, I can only speak for the Bay Area, it's kind of like a tight group and you kind of know each other. So you know this person, they know it, and you're all on LinkedIn and you all follow each other. So you kind of know who does what. So you're going to be kind of networking and trying to land another job at another tech company that might use your skills that you had at another tech company, right? So if you're working at Tesla, you might go to Rivian or vice versa, something like that. I know Rivian's also been doing layoffs, but sometimes that might be beneficial for another company to actually hire you because you have certain skills that they're looking for, right? That is one scenario. If you work for Meta, this is another one because you're going to go to entrepreneurship route. So if you're going to do that, that is one of the safest ways to actually um, start your business, because Meta, all these tech companies give you huge severance packages, right? And some tech people always wanted to do their own startup, but they just didn't have the time, they didn't have the right environment. And so what happens is they get let go. And as you read, like out of 113 start their own kind of company, they're doing their own thing. And some of them, blow up and some of them kind of fail, right? So now you're like, okay, should I start my own business? Well, doing your own business can be really, really great. If you do it right, if you have some clients, if you know the product, if you do not need to invest $500,000 or $1 million to get it started, right? So if you're going to do a software company, somebody that got laid off by Meta, that might be a really, really good way for you to get started. And you've probably been working on something for a longer time, and now you're like, you know what? I got 6 months worth of severance. Let me just do it. Let me just try it. I have 6 months worth of paid time off, and I can find a job pretty easily. Let me just do 6 months right now. And in 6 months, if there's nothing, I can always find another job. And with my skills, I can probably do it. So the only thing is entrepreneurship is like a journey up and down. You can have great months and you can have horrible months. And what I think is the bigger problem than selling actually is the state of the economy and how things are going around you that you do not have direct control of, like interest rates. And I think, and check out this comment right here. This guy said, that's brought up a really, really good point, and said that not everybody knows how to operate in high interest rate environments. I know they're not that high compared to what they were before, but before, money to borrow money was almost free, right? And now all of a sudden it costs money. And so now you need to generate a profit. And generating a profit is harder than most people think, actually, because you got to account for your time. And just because you make 5, 6, or 20 or $30,000, or you make, hey, I'm making 50 grand a month. If you're in entrepreneurship, you know that just making $50,000 a month doesn't mean you're net profiting $50,000 a month. You have IRS, you have taxes, cost of doing business, payroll, all these other things, taxes, LLC, you got to file corporate taxes, you need to do all these other things. And so it's not that simple. To be a successful entrepreneur, I am amazed how people can do it because it's not that easy. And people say, oh, it's not that hard. Oh, it is extremely hard. You're starting to, at one point you need to hire people, or, because AI can't do everything yet, but you need to hire people, get them trained, and kind of move along. And these people that you hire need to kind of make you an ROI. They kind of need to um, they need to almost make 3 times what they're costing you. And if they cannot perform or they cannot do, double what they're costing you, it's a loss leader. And as a business owners, you are not allowed to have loss leaders because we work for big companies that can get funding. They have VCs, they have lines of credit, they have all these big stuff. But you as a small business owner do not. And everything that you're buying is basically backed and guaranteed by you. So what does that mean? That means that everything that you buy, like, oh, I want to buy a car or you want to buy tools or anything else, you need to fill out a personal note that you're going to be able to pay it back, or you need to come up with the money. If you do not have it, if your company goes belly up and you shut it down, they're not going to tell you, hey, we're just going to waive that, and oh, your company didn't do very well, oh, don't worry about it. So you have to sign a personal guarantee, so they actually can collect on the money, and they will collect on the money, trust me. They are not going to just let you take out a bunch of debt and then not pay it back, because then everybody would do it and everybody would form a company. And that's why when you see these influencers say, oh, you need to buy a car and it costs you no money. So there's these influencers that say you just need to buy a car and your business pays for it, and you can write the whole thing off. So if you have that mentality, you're probably not going to be a good business owner. Because if you're going to say, oh, I'm just going to write the whole thing off, then once you sell it, you need to pay taxes on that as income, and your business still needs to pay for it. So you still need to make enough revenue to justify the expense, right? And so there's these key words once you're an entrepreneur that you kind of know, like, yeah, that's not right. But in the sake of not getting into arguments, you just be like, you know what, we'll just let that slide and we'll just keep on talking about it. So that is one thing, right? That's a whole nother thing. Entrepreneurship, super hard route though, but if you can pull it off, it can pay off big time. If you can build a startup and then sell it to even Meta itself, you build something and then they want to acquire you, or something else, or another company doesn't even have to be Meta, it's gonna purchase you, and you're done basically. If you didn't give up all the percentages, what I hope you don't, you're done. You can retire and just do whatever you want. You can go pick up hobbies. You can literally do whatever, because you are almost a billionaire. Because most companies, like software companies, if they're selling you, they'll sell you for 7, 8 figures. And if you have the majority stake in it, you're rocking and rolling. So that's a whole nother one. The next one is they might just take some time off. Another thing is that with these big severance packages, they just take some time off to rethink about life, retrain some new skills that they wanted to learn, and move on with their life. Or just say, hey, I got a year plus worth of severance. I think Google paid 16 weeks plus 2 weeks for every year that you were there, right? So yeah, it's pretty good. If you worked there for a long time, they laid you off, and sometimes they even give you, oh, your stock just instantly vests all that you had outstanding. They'll instantly give that to you. So if you were there for a long time and all that stock instantly vests, you're great. You're done. You did good. You're done, right? And then it's like, why do you need to go to work? And I actually know somebody that just got let go and got a year plus worth of severance. So this person said, why would I find something else right now? The job market sucks. I have a year plus worth of severance. Why don't I just travel the world a little bit, live quite inexpensively around the world, and who knows when I'll get another opportunity to do that? And I get it. And that is why I think that most people, like Americans, haven't really experienced this whole recession thing, because of all these packages of severance that they've actually got and and handed out to people. And even though they handed out all these severance packages, they still made huge profits, right? So even though they made huge profits and severance and paid out severance packages, they're gonna at one point need to hire people again to expand or do something, or grow the business or shut something down. Because at one point, once interest rates are gonna come down, and they will come down. I think the Fed said next year they're gonna lower interest rate 4 times. So that means that there's gonna be money is gonna be easier to lend, and that means there's going to be a little uptick in the economy, right? So then all of a sudden, these tech companies are going to be like, oh, let's hire some more people because we got cheaper money that we can borrow now. So they're going to try to get new, try to start some projects up again. And so that then they got to rehire all these people, right? Or at least some of them that haven't been replaced by AI. So these are a few scenarios that I see that these tech people, and I know tech people that are doing. There's not a lot of other options out there because you still gotta kind of work or do something with your life. You can't just play around and play video games. Only if you stream nowadays, you can stream and play video games and make a pretty decent amount of money. But you gotta do it right, and you gotta have a following, because just because you have social media following doesn't mean that you're gonna make money. And there's been a lot of influencers that wanted to sell t-shirts and couldn't do it, couldn't sell their audience like 30 t-shirts. And there's been famous movie producers or script writers that this guy in San Francisco made a mini movie, and he wanted people to pay $4, and nobody bought it. So just because people watch you online doesn't mean that that's going to convert into sales. So just because you're a tech employee and have a following on TikTok doesn't necessarily mean you can do the freelance opportunity and just jump on, be like, I'm going to be an influencer and make my money that way, because brand deals and all that kind of stuff has dried up. With the economy as it sits right now, has just dried up. So you got to wait and be smart about your personal money. And do not listen to when other people say, oh, the economy's doing great with the stock market. Yeah, the stock market is not what Americans go by. They go by paychecks and not the stock market. I don't know people that live off of the stock market. If you're retired and you live off of dividends, great. Then the stock market's doing good. But if you're not retired and you're still working for it, you are hustling. So yeah, it is a brutal world out there. And I tried to find the data on how many people actually got rehired from these companies, but I couldn't find anything, because that's not public knowledge. They don't have to share those numbers, how many people actually got rehired. But that'd be super interesting to hear, how many people got rehired, how many people got that got let go are actually job searching, and what they want to do with their future. Because I think these tech workers, I don't even know the exact age, what the average age was that they've been let go. Be really interesting to see though, because some of them might just retire, and then it wouldn't be too bad if they let people go that that wanted to retire. But I think it wasn't directors and senior directors and the boomers that were like, hey, we're just gonna retire everybody old, everybody new in. And as I circle back on the conversation as I had before, us young people do not know how to operate in an environment that is high interest, right? With an environment that has high interest rates. And I get it. We'll get through this. It's gonna be a bumpy ride till we're over this. But it's gonna be a tough one, because if you're thinking about starting your own startup, you have a 90% failure rate, because 9 out of 10 startups fail. So you have a 10% chance of doing it. And if you're at Meta, I think you probably have a higher one if you're one of these tech people, because You just have the entrepreneurship Silicon Valley spirit, and I feel like that accounts for more a little bit. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So yeah, this is basically what the options are. I couldn't think about anything else. You guys let me know. If you watched for so long, thanks so much. Like and subscribe. Let me know if you guys have any other ideas. What's up? If you're a tech worker that got let go, let me know if you took the entrepreneurship route. And if not, yeah, what you're up to if you're traveling the world. So yeah, this was a great little walk. If you have questions or you want me to make a video about something, it has to be kind of about finance and tech and the job or the economy. I can't make a video about cats and dogs. I'd love to, but those get hardly any views. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.